I am a professional photographer. I mostly do industrial photography for businesses and such, but I also do other types for myself and as art. I love taking pictures of the old architecture in my city and of the surprising wildlife in it. My mom asked if I'd be willing to take pictures for my stepsister's wedding to help them save money. She asked me to do it as a gift. She knows that Tina hates me, and I pretty much reciprocate. I decided to be the bigger person and agreed. I was there for the makeup and the wedding party and getting dressed. I took a ton of pictures throughout the wedding. I prepared a checklist of all the different formals she wanted and made sure I got them all. I did my absolute best. When I got to the reception, there was no place for me to sit. I got there right away to get pictures of the wedding party, the arrival, etc. The wedding party had stopped to use the bathroom and get freshened up. I called my mom to find out where I was meant to sit and eat. She talked to Tina and called me back. She was upset, and I could tell. She said that Tina thought that since I was working and not a guest, she didn't have a seat and food for me. I thanked my mom for the information and left. I took my boyfriend, my assistant that day, and went out for dinner, my treat. We had been on the go for 8 hours by then. I turned off my phone. We had a nice night out and saw the new Mad Max movie. Sunday morning, I turned on my phone. It was full of messages asking where I went, demanding I come to take pictures, and cursing me out. I called my mom to see what was up. She said that Tina was very upset that I left and that all her reception pictures would be taken with cell phone cameras. She said I should have just gone and get a quick bite at McDonald's and then come back. I told her that I felt terrible and would of course give a full refund of what they paid me, $0. I also said that this was the last straw, and I didn't want to hear crap when I didn't invite Tina to my wedding next year. Tina thinks I'm an idiot, and my mom thinks I should have kept the peace. I will drop off a thumb drive with all the pictures and wash my hands of this. No editing, no nothing. Am I the idiot for leaving my stepsister's wedding where I'm supposed to be taking pictures? Not the idiot. My girlfriend does wedding photos. I'm often along as her helper. Even when we aren't related to the bride and groom, we are always fed. We're usually at a back table away from everyone, which is fine, since we have a big bag of stuff to keep away from kids. Your stepsister is the idiot. She played a dumb game and got the prize she deserved. Your mom's a little as well. I know how much my girlfriend charges for her wedding. You gave a very expensive gift to someone you don't like. I enjoyed it when you offered a full refund. I must be honest, I've always wanted to think this quickly on my feet. Offering a full refund for a free photography job is just a chef's kiss. It's hilarious and perfect. She's lucky she's getting the thumb drive. Maybe add one more last picture of you and hubby, smiling and waving to it. You're doing an epic favor you'd normally get paid well to do. You're doing this for someone who doesn't like you. Then you find out that they intentionally snubbed you. Even if the photographer didn't have seating and food, the stepsister should have that. It was intentional. You left after being snubbed. I would have done the same thing. If they screamed, then you could just say, "What's it say in the contract?" And that should end it. Ha! Yeah, if there's no seat, then there's no invitation. You don't give gifts for a wedding you're not invited for. So why would OP be taking pictures? OP, you should have gone completely without contact with Tina a long time ago if you didn't have any type of relationship with her. Considering that Tina didn't even consider her own stepsister a guest and treated you like a temp employee, you had every right to walk out of this wedding. From here on, do not include Tina in your life ever again. Before diving into my post's crux, my husband and I got engaged in 2019 and were married in 2021. The night he proposed, I sent my parents and close friends a photo of the engagement ring. My mother called me back to ask questions about the proposal and said she wanted to contact family members immediately. I asked her to not share the news yet, as I wanted to share a better photo of the ring, since she had critiqued how my nails weren't polished and the photo wasn't that great, to send out to everyone through Facebook, where the majority of my family and friends would see it. She dismissed what I asked, even when I kept asking her not to, because it was not her news to share. The following day, I got a text from my aunt, my mother's sister, congratulating me on my engagement. I rushed to paint my nails and send a better photo to make the engagement post on social media. I was a bit hurt by my mother's disregard for this request. I felt that by sharing the news when I asked her not to, she took a little bit of the joy of us sharing it with the rest of our family and friends. I am now 20 weeks pregnant, and I just had my anatomy scan this morning, where I learned the gender of my baby. We had told our family members beforehand that we would have the scan today and would make an announcement at some point soon after. We're not holding a gender reveal party since we have family members all over. We'll probably make the announcement by calling grandparents first, then making the announcement through a video or photos to be shared through text and later online. My mother called me later in the afternoon to ask about the gender. I advised her that we would make the announcement in a few days, as we were trying to figure out how to announce it. My mom was upset that I wouldn't even give her a hint. I'm not exactly sure how I would do that, and that she should have special mom privileges when it comes to stuff like this. I want the announcement to be fair and made at the same time. We have family all over the country and overseas, and we find it easier to spread news like this all at once so no one is upset. I began thinking back to the engagement and how she still shared the news when I asked her not to. When she was still not happy that I wouldn't disclose the gender, I mentioned that the last time I asked her not to share something, she did it anyway. When she asked for clarification, I told her about my aunt texting me about the engagement. She did get a bit defensive, stating she didn't remember that, but she also dismissed it like it wasn't a big deal that she shared the news, even when I asked her not to. After we ended the call, I felt a little guilty and thought I might have been a little harsh. I'm close to my mom, but I worried this might have created tension in our relationship. I know that part of this is her being excited about what's going on in my life and wanting to share the news right away. Still, if I'm asking her not to share the news and she does it anyway, it feels like I'm just being dismissed because she's my mother. Further down the line, this recent conversation can affect our relationship. So, am I the idiot for how I handled the situation? Mom, I'm engaged. Great, but your nails look terrible. And what kind of quality photo is this? Oh, well, don't tell anyone. I want to tell them myself. Whatever. Off to tell Aunt Susan. My special mom privilege includes criticism and owning your life events. Not the idiot. You handled it fine. Mom played a stupid game and won a stupid prize. Ah, it's the narcissist prayer. That didn't happen. And if it did, it wasn't that bad. And if it was, that's not a big deal. And if it is, that's not my fault. And if it was, I didn't mean it. And if I did, you deserved it. Honey, you shouldn't feel guilty about having boundaries with your mom, especially since she's proven to ignore your request and diminish your concerns. It seems your mom is used to getting her way while invalidating your feelings and wishes. I have 3 kids, 27, 29, and 31. They all decided to go to expensive colleges. I paid for their books and gave them money for a food plan, but tuition was on them. They knew from the beginning that college would be on them. My youngest took some community college classes to save money. The rest of the kids didn't do much to lower their expenses. They're all out of college and in a whole bunch of debt. My mother passed away, and she gave me the house. I'm selling it for around $500K. I plan to use some of it for a big vacation and the rest to go into my retirement fund. I decided to let the kids have a look at the home first before it went on the market. It's in a really nice area, and the house is great. They were surprised by the amount, and all of them couldn't afford it. I told them I plan to sell it soon. This started an argument about how I came into so much money, but don't plan to give them any of it. I told them it was my inheritance from my mother. She wanted me to have this. Argument escalated even more, and they wanted me to pay off their school debt. If I did that, it would take 3/4 of my inheritance. So I told them no. I reminded them that when I die, they'll have their own inheritance from me, but I'm not dead yet, and I can't sell our home and give them that money since I need to live in it. I can't drain my retirement fund since I needed to retire. They're angry at me. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. If your mother wanted them to have money, she would have put it in her will. You told them that they would have to pay for their own tuition. They're adults. You provided for them when they were children, but they chose to attend their schools and accepted that it would put them in debt. So question, what was the point of I let them see the house when A, they got nothing out of that other than looking at a nice house that would never be theirs because you're selling it, and B, what was the point, especially in letting them know the sell amount when you knew off the top that you wouldn't share or want to have this conversation? This story just reads weird. You're not the idiot for the title because, again, it is your money. You're the idiot when it comes to life lessons because in situations like this, you will always be recommended to just cash out and keep quiet because people will obviously ask, justified or not. Sharing and then being confused that the expectation is that you're willing is what will get you in this situation. So in the future, you should probably keep it to yourself. Yeah, I think it's so weird that OP is getting $500K and sharing $0 with their kids, whom they presumably love and want to see do well in life. There is a huge space between give away 75% of my inheritance to fully pay off all debt and give them nothing. It was poor judgment to advertise this inheritance if he had no plans to share anything with his children. And there is still time to give them something, say $10,000 each, as a gift to share the generosity. I'm pregnant with a baby boy who's due in November. My fiance and I didn't care much about the gender of our child, so we didn't make too much noise about it once we found out. The only people we'd informed were our parents, partners, and siblings. Before this, my father's girlfriend of 3 years had been asking me about my plans for a gender reveal party. I've always been clear about not wanting one. When I announced my son's gender to them, she expressed disappointment that I hadn't changed my mind about a party. I don't like gender reveals. Never have, never will. I prefer baby showers, which I think feel more about the child. I've never tried to hide that opinion either. Days later, my father's girlfriend invited me for tea at their apartment. My dad was out of town. About a dozen people popped out of hiding to surprise me when I got there. Pink and blue decorations were everywhere, which made what was going on pretty clear. As I stood there in shock, my father's girlfriend excitedly told me they were throwing me a surprise gender reveal party. Since I'd already told her, she had taken it upon herself to order a cake with colorful frosting, decorate the apartment, and invite a bunch of people over. The guests included her mother, whom I don't get along with, some of her friends, my mother-in-law, not my mom, and 4 of my friends. As I later found out, my mother-in-law and friends had been told that I'd changed my mind about gender reveals. I had not. Still in the doorway, I looked at everyone and said, "It's a boy. You guys can go home now." I left without looking back. Hours later, my father called me, furious that I'd ruined the party. He said his girlfriend had put a lot of effort, money, and love into planning it, and I should have shown respect and gratitude for it. Apparently, she hadn't stopped crying since I left. It's been almost a week and they're both still upset. Even after I explained I never wanted that party in the first place, they're insisting I could have sucked it up for an hour or at least cut the cake. Am I the idiot? Edit. I asked my mom and she confirmed she wasn't invited. According to my father's girlfriend, she didn't have her number. That's probably true, but I have no idea how she could have gotten my mother-in-law's. Not the idiot. This smacks of her trying to prove that she cares about you more than your mom, especially since either your mom wasn't invited or she turned down the invitation to respect your wishes. She doesn't seem to get that the way to prove she cares about you is to actually listen to what you want and don't want. According to my father's girlfriend, she didn't have my mom's number. She expects you to believe that your father wouldn't have had her number or been able to get a hold of your mom somehow. Even if they weren't in contact at all, he could have still pointed her in the right direction to get it, so she just doesn't stomp all over your boundaries. She's insulting your intelligence. Lovely. You made yourself very clear in how you felt about gender reveal parties. Your dad's girlfriend completely and deliberately disregarded that and disrespected you. I'm so sorry the party she planned for herself was ruined. Maybe she should have gone a step further and not even invited you, since this party was all about what she wanted. It's a boy. You guys can go home now. I wish all gender reveal parties were like that. That's elite. It wasn't your gender reveal party. It was her boyfriend's daughter's baby's gender reveal party. Nothing about that party was for or about you, so why should you feel gratitude for it? Dad's girlfriend sounds like someone who enjoys bulldozing boundaries. Wait until she expects to be in the delivery room with you. My wife's younger sister got married 3 weeks ago. For the wedding, my wife filled the role that should have been filled by their mom, but she passed away when my wife was a teenager and her siblings were younger. Again, my wife stepped up as the family mom. It ruined her relationship with her dad in the process because she had to mother him as well and had to take care of the family. She wanted him to be a better dad than that, but he wasn't capable of doing so at the time. To this day, things are strained. My wife's siblings lived with her for a period after she left as well. There is some conflict because after my wife turned 18 and moved out, her dad remarried. There's always been tension between my wife and father-in-law over the role my wife plays and the role father-in-law's wife wanted to play. My wife's younger siblings did not end up looking up to father-in-law's wife as a maternal figure and instead continued looking to my wife. This is something we all know bothers father-in-law's wife, at least to some degree. This is why my sister-in-law's decision to have my wife fill the role on her wedding day brought forth some comments from my father-in-law's wife. It was more about the tradition they do in their family, which may or may not be related to a cultural thing in their mom's family. However, their family always has the bride spend the night before and right up to the wedding with their mom. They don't leave each other's sides, and they help each other get ready together. My wife did this with her sister. Father-in-law's wife wanted to be a part of this. She was upset previously when my wife didn't invite her to do it for our wedding. But it was a bigger deal with sister-in-law because she lived with them for 6 or 7 years. Father-in-law's wife found me during an in-between moment, and she told me my wife must be so happy she got to keep her out of yet another one of the weddings, and how smug my wife must be that she wasn't thought of enough to be invited in alongside the two sisters, and was basically a +1 and nothing more. I told her I didn't appreciate her talking about my wife in that way, and she started to make another comment, so I walked away from her without saying another word. She stewed on that for the rest of the wedding, and days later brought it up to my in-laws and demanded an apology from me. My wife told her I did not owe her an apology for walking away in the way in which I did. Am I the idiot? How dare you walk away from me when I'm trying to insult your wife? Apologize to me. Yeah, that's perfectly sane. LOL. Not the idiot. Frankly, you were a lot kinder and classier than most people would have been. I would have given her a 2-word response. I wish her luck with that apology. You didn't want to argue with the woman at a wedding. You walked away from her negativity. So she has another thing to be unhappy about. You walking away like that. Is she disappointed that she failed to cause a scene by goading you into a fight? Oh well, that sucks for her that she's unhappy, and it sucks for her that you didn't care. And she proves it every time she opens her mouth. Holy cow. Your father-in-law's wife needs to get a grip, quite frankly. Also, what were you supposed to do? Start a fight and ruin the day? Agree? Only one person needs to apologize, and it isn't you. Good on you for having your wife's back.